together now. We are reaching out and finding better ways to build a better world. And find a better way to build a better world. Oh, there's a brand new generation. There's a brand new generation. Oh, for a brand new healthy world. Yeah, yeah, for a healthy world. Oh, there's a brand new generation. There's a brand new generation. Oh, for a brand new healthy world. Yeah, yeah, for a healthy world.
Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, everybody, from wherever you're tuning in. Welcome to the 2022 World Food Forum Private Sector Innovation Afternoon. I am Nemanja from the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and it's my honor to be your host for this first part of the Private Sector Innovation Afternoon. Before we kick things off and start with some panel discussions, please join me in welcoming Beth Bechtel, Deputy Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, to set the scene. Beth, please.
Thanks very much for letting me be on the stage again in a second session here this afternoon. This is really sort of where it all comes together, is when you put a session focused on innovation and link in the private sector. And I think for many of you, you know just how committed I think I am personally, as are many of us in the FAO leadership, to changing the way that organizations like FAO and others of us in the UN system work with the private sector. It's no small task to try to get a 14,000 person, 130 country office organization like FAO to embrace the speed at which, the flexibility with which, the innovation that comes from the private sector to put all of those things together is a pretty big task. But conversations like this and partnerships that we have with groups like the EBRD, a very important partner to us, along with so many of others of you who are here today in our permanent representations. We're going to hear from Ambassador Rubenstein again during this session. So many have been great proponents of bringing this private sector engagement to the way we support innovative approaches to food and agriculture. There has, I think, long been a sort of siloed approach to how we each take on our own roles in dealing with the global food and agricultural system challenges. It doesn't work anymore. It's not the way that we are going to make progress. We don't have the time, and the challenges and the crises are just too big today. And so there's a huge need for private sector leadership in the work that is done by all of us who are focused on sustainable transforming of agri-food systems. And that role will come in a variety of different forms. It may come in just dialogue and discussion, exchanging ideas, networking, getting to understand each other's motivations, what drives us, what kinds of research are we leading. It may come in the direct form of innovation and technology exchanges. It may come in the training of farmers and people who are in the field really trying to do better, be more productive, and be more sustainable. And it may come in the form of investment. It may come in the form of financial support. But whatever form it takes, being on a stage like this today and speaking as a part of the World Food Forum, especially this conversation with our young people, the last session that we just had focused on entrepreneurs and creative minds that are coming from the next generation. linking all of this together in this very next session is what I'm most excited about. I will just say that innovation typically does not come, for some it does, admittedly, but it often does not come with a sort of light bulb moment, that sort of, aha, eureka, I've discovered something. Innovation is a process. It takes some time, it takes discovery, it takes conversation, it takes thoughtfulness. And it also is important that we all listen throughout this process. And so I think the conversations that we're going to have in this very discussion will, I hope, fuel and feed some of your own ideas about how we can do better together in each of our own different places. Before I conclude and pass the microphone back over, I do want to give another special acknowledgement to a very important partner of FAO, and that is the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We have had a long and very successful, I think over 25 years, if I know the numbers correctly, working relationship with them. And we are really, I think, finding these synergies today to really harness the power of driving innovation for youth and smallholder farmers all around the world. They have important connections throughout so many of the important countries that we work in as well, and really excited to have you all here with us today and Yemi to be a part of the program. So with that, let's get the program started. We look forward to hearing from everyone. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Beth, for the inspiration and the commitment to engagement of youth in our sector. To move on and to start now the panel discussions, I will invite my colleagues from the EBRD, from Savola, and as well as online, a few colleagues from Migros and EBRD who are joining us from London and Istanbul. So please join me on stage. And while we sort of settle in here, we have a video to show, basically just a quick introduction to the session. Excellent, and we're back. The agribusiness sector needs to better understand, support, and learn from global private sector companies in their approach to frontier technology, bridging the digital divide, but also applying incremental innovation to increase R&D, to combine knowledge and experience made in all these different fields. One way to participate in this drive is to develop a culture of entrepreneurship and innovation, and to encourage youth to develop their ideas by providing opportunities for research and development, and eventually investment. To talk about all of this and more, hopefully, we have our fantastic panelists, and we will do a round of introduction. Let me start with the colleagues here on stage. It's the Savola Foods Company. So in one sentence, 1 minute, if you can say who you are and what do you do.
Thank you. I'm Dia Rashwan. I work in Savola Foods. I'm leading innovation, strategic marketing services, and B2B in Savola Foods. I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nemanja. In one sentence, I'm Muntasir Ahmed. I'm Head of Innovations, R&D, New Product Development in Savola Foods Company Group. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. And we thought the best way to present Savola would be through a video. So let's watch a brief video about Savola and what they do.
Since 1979, Savola Group is one of the leading strategic investment holding companies in the MENA region. With a wide portfolio of leading brands in the food and retail sectors. Al-Marai is the world's largest vertically integrated dairy and a leading food producer and distributor in the Middle East. Al-Kabir, one of the Gulf Corporation Council's leading frozen food players. Penda is #1 grocery retailer in Saudi Arabia based on their market share. Herfi is one of the most popular fast food brands in Saudi Arabia. Savola's group annual turnover is over 24 billion Saudi riyals. In the food sector, Savola Group owns 100% of Savola Foods Company. Savola is the largest shareholder in Al-Marai, with a 34.52% holding in the company and a 51% stake in Al-Kabir Group of companies. As for the retail sector, Savola owns 98.87% of Penda Retails and the largest shareholder of Herfi Food Services Company with a 49% stake. Since the very beginning, in 1979 until present, Savola Group continues its journey of success for more than 4 decades. Savola is a regional leader in foods and retail sectors. Savola Food Company ranked first in basic food business in MENA and 6th in edible oil globally. #1 grocery retailer in Saudi Arabia by market share. With more than 40 years of heritage, diversity, leadership, and sustainability, Savola, value built on values.
Great. Thank you again, and great to have you with us. Now we'll jump to Istanbul. I hope the technology works, where we have a representative of Migros. If you can hear me, please introduce yourself briefly and what you do in Migros.
Hello, see you. Yes, I can hear you great well. Hello from Turkey, Istanbul, and Anatolia, the lands of where the farming and agriculture is started. It's my pleasure to be here with you and represent my country and company. I am Ayşegül Özkavukçu, and I'm an industrial engineer with my PhD degree. My interests are basically innovation and its relationship with company strategies, leadership, team creation, and finally coaching. I'm working for Migros, which is the pioneer of organized retail in Turkey. And our company is known as its innovative side. And we have more than 2,700 stores all over the country. And we have a significant role in the food value chain where the consumers define the value of that chain in our stores. And currently, I'm leading the Co-Innovation Center of Migros, where we gather both entrepreneurs and the Migros experts in the same team to conduct innovative projects in just 3 months. And also, we have a short video about our company.
Great. Thank you, Ayşegül. Great to have you with us indeed. So to present Migros, here is another brief video.
At Migros, we integrate our merchandising know-how with digitalization to offer our customers the retail experience of the future. We serve 81 provinces with over 55,000 employees, our online service channels and distribution centers, along with our stakeholders in communications, technology, real estate, investment, finance, and logistics. We are a 24/7 active organization with a wide sphere of influence. At Migros, we bring value-oriented service to every aspect of our customers' lives so we can share each moment with them. We provide products and services which improve quality of life. In addition to our popular online platforms, Migros Hemen, Taze Direct, and Macro Online, we beat our European competitors by launching Migros Virtual Market. All over Turkey, Migros Virtual Market now offers over 40,000 different products for delivery within 45 minutes. Migros is Turkey's largest retailer of fruits, vegetables, and baked goods. Because 77% of our turnover depends on agriculture, we create projects promoting agriculture, so we can bring our customers the freshest produce while supporting our producers. In this way, we guarantee supply continuity and ensure that farmers get what they are due, while we prioritize women's cooperatives. We are the first supermarket chain to offer fresh fruits and vegetables cultivated using good agricultural practices. Migros reaches producers all over the country, providing them access to the national market and allowing us to deliver their products to our customers at the most affordable prices. We partnered with banks to create the producer financing system so that producers are able to collect their payments without waiting for the term. Migros is the only food retailer in Turkey with our own meat processing plant. Miget is among the top 10 meat processing plants in Turkey and Europe. At Migros, sustainability is crucial to our business model. It drives us toward our goal to create value for all our stakeholders, with several environmental, social, and economic projects and our sustainability performance in line with our Good Future plan. We are proud to be the only retailer listed in the BIST Sustainability Index.
Great. Excellent. Really glad to have Migros here as well. And to finish this first round of introductions, two colleagues from the EBRD, very glad to have you as well. Let's start with the stage first. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I'm Iride Shekaci. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm part of the agribusiness team of the EBRD. I'm heading advisory activities. We are a private sector bank. We work from farm to fork with clients that are really different and at each stages of the value chain. And we do also offer advisory activities and possibilities for technical cooperation and policy initiatives, which we implement together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. So it's a pleasure to be here today and continue these innovations and innovation support that we have in this room. Thank you very much, Nima.
Great, thank you. And finally, our colleague in London, as I think you can see, and as I hope you can see, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nimanya. Yeah, this is Nari Bin. I'm heading the Star Venture program, which is the EBRD's first advisory program for tech startups in our countries of operations. So the EBRD, the Star Venture program was launched about 3.5 years ago, and actually 10% of our portfolio companies are agri-tech, food tech. So I'm very pleased that I'm here in the right place to really share some of our program information later, and also about our sort of agri-tech more specifically. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nari. Indeed, both from you and Iride we'll hear a little bit later, but really glad to have you here. So let's kick things off, and I would like to start with Savola first. We saw this video, it looks really very impressive, but we wanted to sort of look into it a little bit deeper, to tell us a bit why sustainability matters to us, to you, why nutrition matters to you, how do you incorporate youth and some of these innovative approaches into your business.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the FOO and EBRD for giving us the opportunity to be here. I think it's really great, and we've been in the room for some time. We've saw a lot of innovations, a lot of fresh ideas, so it's really great. Savola is a leading group in MENACA region, Middle East, North Africa, and Central Asia. And we take sustainability very seriously in our business. So like all listed companies, and we are a listed company, we issue an annual report showing our performance, our results, and we make it available to public. But likewise, we have another very important report, which is Savola Annual Sustainability Report, which we issue also every year, make it accessible to everybody. And it shows all the initiatives and all the achievements that we've done in the previous year that is related to sustainability one way or another. So we really take it very seriously. So in any decision we make, basically we have to create value to our key stakeholders. And our key stakeholders are consumers, shareholders, employees, and community at large. So whenever we think of raw materials, whenever we think of ingredients, whenever we think of new products, processing technology, we try to take the sustainable approach on that and try to make more sustainable solutions, more sustainable products to our consumers and to our customers. In innovations as well, as we speak right now, I have several initiatives in my pipeline that are all about are tackling in sustainability one way or another, and they're going to be seeing the light in the next 18 months or so. So it's really at the heart of our business. And if I have time, I can give you a lot of examples about some of the initiatives and some of the projects that we've done this year. But you can find a lot about that online, basically, from our website. Why youth? Because, I mean, when we think sustainability, it's about today and about the future. And youth is all about the future. So I think we are here at the right place in WFF to launch this challenge and to invite the youth to bring all their fresh ideas and innovation. And like what Beth was saying in the beginning, innovation is all about connecting the dots and building ideas over the other. And in many instances, we start an idea with a certain scope, certain perspective, and then the idea takes a little bit different shape at the end and taking us to a new innovation. And here, actually, open innovation here is giving us this connectivity opportunity where we can connect with the external world, get fresh ideas from outside the organization, from the youth, from the young, and really try to make something that can change the world. So this is why you are here today. Thank you.
Excellent. Really, really great to hear. Thank you. Let's go to Istanbul with Ayşegül, and for Migros, pretty much the same question. Why does open innovation matter to you? What are some of these priorities that of Migros that you're looking to answer through innovation?
Thanks for asking, Nemanja, again. I think innovation requires an interdisciplinary approach, and we need to employ all creative muscles of the ecosystem. We believe in that collaborative power. So almost 2 years ago, we launched our co-innovation center called Migros Hub to conduct innovation projects with startups and young talents. Where we are differentiating is the way of our innovating. We are not acting like supplier and the customer relationship. Instead, we are the members of the same team with entrepreneurs. We have the same shared goal, and we have a motto like achieve fast, fail fast, and learn fast. Because nowadays, world is turning faster and faster. Okay, we need to be fast like entrepreneurs and startups as corporates. For instance, we designed and developed a new electrical vehicle with Pergele Mobility startup to increase efficiency in our warehouses, and we just prototyped it in 2 months. It's really quick, and we are about to commercialize it together with that startup. Another one is about upcycling, for instance. We use the shelves of the nuts we are selling in our stores to produce a shelf in the store with Ottan Studio and so on. Maybe to understand better, we can watch our co-innovation journey in a short video as well. Nemanja, thank you.
Thank you. So if that's ready, if we can see the second video by Migros, yeah.
Thank you.
Yenilik yapmanın yeni yolu Migros Hub. Girişimcilerin tutkusu, Migros'un tecrübesiyle Migros Hub ortak inovasyon platformunda birleşti.
Düşünebiliyor musunuz? Girişimcilerle Migros uzmanları aynı ekipte ortak hedefe koşuyorlar. İşte biz bu sıra dışı ortamın gücüne çok inanıyoruz.
Yenilikçi, enerjik ve genç Migros çalışanları startupları bekliyor.
Biliyoruz ki girişimciliğin DNA'sında hız var.
Hızlı başar, hızlı kaybet, hızlı öğren.
Gücümüzü ekip olmaktan alıyoruz.
Birlikte keşfediyoruz.
Birlikte karar veriyoruz. Birlikte hayata geçiriyoruz.
Birlikte paylaşıyoruz.
Oluşturduğumuz bu kültürle tüm dünyaya ilham oluyoruz.
Great. Thank you very much, Isaac, for that. Indeed, very, very exciting things. Same as with Savola. We're very glad that we can put a bit of a spotlight on that. The second, and maybe I think the most exciting part of this conversation for me is to hear about the new challenges that both Migros and Savola are going to put forward to startups and young entrepreneurs. So we said about 5 minutes or so, we want to hear about the problem you want to solve and how would you like to invite the youth to solve it. So first off, Savola, yes, please, Dr.
Thank you, Nemanja. First of all, I would like to thank you and the rest of the BRD team to bring us to this stage and to present our challenge. Actually, our challenge is related to find out an alternative fat and fat mimic media that can be suitable for different cooking applications for consumer purpose. Actually, as you know, that oil and fats are key components in dietitian of the human beings, and accounting for about 10% of the consumption of the foods. However, it should be actually representing from 20 to 30% of the food composition, according to the even FAO and the WHO recommendations, that the energy of the food should be taken 30% of it from the oil and fats. However, in the last 10 years, the international community used to face a lot of problems regarding the oil and fat supply for different types of reasons. And unfortunately, in the last 10 years, the frequency of repeating of shortage of oil and fat supply became more frequent due to different reasons that there is no time actually to list down this challenge and these problems. However, if anybody can Google and say what are the challenges, what are the problems that oil and fat supply all over the world is facing, you will find a lot of lists for most of the common oils like sunflower, like soybean, like corn and palm, and so on. This is actually due to the different challenges like climatic changes, like the war that's going on, like the infestation problems, like the crops infection problems. All these reasons that diminish the supply of the oil and fats for edible purpose around the world. This is why we as Savola, as one of the leaders of oil and fats manufacturing and another foodstuff in the world, we are looking to provide to our consumers and also our region consumers a new type of sustainable source for cooking medium as a replacement, sustainable replacement for oil and fats that could be suitable for different domestic applications. I'm not talking about the industrial applications because this is actually a very big challenge that needs a lot of work, but let us focus on the consumer front. How to supply what we call it either fat replacer, edible oil and fat replacers. And when we talk about edible oil and fat replacers, actually we talk about two categories of products. Either we talk about fat substitutes and fat mimics. This is what we are going to present to our youth as a challenge to look for it. One of these, either oil fat substitutes or fat mimics. And of course, we know from the literature survey, from all the publications, that in the last 20 years, there are a lot of R&D work is done either by the industrial community or even by the researchers in the universities to find out a suitable fat mimics. When we talk about the oil and fat substitutes, we talk about something that can replace oil and fats as one-to-one replacement, and it should give the same texture and the same functional characteristics of the edible oil and fats, common edible oil and fats, and at the same time should deliver for the food the same mouthfeel, organoleptic mouthfeel, as well as the functionality and the deliverables. This means that it should work either in cold applications or in hot applications. When I say cold applications, I'm talking about salad dressing, I'm talking about mayonnaise applications, culinary applications. When I'm talking about the hot applications, I'm talking about the deep, the shallow frying, the pan frying, all these types, and even the cooking, because cooking is done at 100 degrees. However, for the frying, you talk about 180 degrees. So how to find that suitable fat alternative or fat substitute that can work at this drastic condition? This is the challenge. This can be an easy challenge if you go to the fat alternative or fat substitutes. If you go to fat mimics, actually, it will be more difficult. Why? Because fat mimics are basically based on carbohydrates or proteins, source materials. Carbohydrates, I'm talking about something coming from the corns, for example, and for the protein sources, something coming from egg, for example, or from whey protein, for example. All these derivatives are called fat mimics. But the issue for fat mimics is that it cannot replace one-to-one replacement. I forget to say that for the oil substitutes, actually it's an advantage that it gives zero calorie content. And sometimes it can give very less calorie content compared to the fats, which is considered at 9 kilocalories per gram. This reaches to 4 kilocalories per gram. For the fat mimics, the problem is that it does not persist in the heat applications, and also it does not give the same organoleptic effect for the oil and fats. Why? Because oil and fats have two distinguished things. First of all, it is carrier. It can be carrying flavors that give the good organoleptic for the foods. And also, very important, it carry the nutrients, the natural nutrients, which is natural antioxidants, like tocopherols, tocotrienols in the palm oil. This is the only soluble and source only in the world. It is coming from the vegetable oils. So in order to transfer it to the fat mimics or fat alternative, this is the challenge actually, how to make such type of fat mimics or fat alternatives that carry these types of nutrients to supply to the end user, and also that can carry the flavors to give the taste to that. In that front, actually, Savola is happy to support our youth by giving different types of supports, like they are giving funding to the youth researchers. Also, we are open to open our research center, which is based in Egypt, which is a very good research center, having different types of facilities, either with chemistry lab, instrumental analysis lab, pilot plants and application labs, processing pilot labs. All these facilities we are open to give to our youth to utilize to reach to our challenge. And also, we are open to have a collaboration in the future, to think about collaboration, either to give some internship to our youth researchers or to give them some visits to our research center also, who can support all of this. Finally, before closing this point, I would just advise advise or pay the attention of researchers that they have to focus on that source or alternative should come from eco-friendly source, and also it should be sustainable. It can be either in liquid texture or semi-liquid texture. It should be as I said, resilient for the heat applications, for not only for the liquid, for the cold applications. It should be suitable for all types of oil and fat applications, like the cooking, like the frying, like the salad dressing.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Really super interesting. I feel like we could continue talking a lot about this. And maybe before we, no, thank you very much. Before we move to Istanbul, actually, if I can quickly ask just for the slide with the QR code for Savola's competition, just to highlight that, so now we see the Migros QR code, but if we can have Savola's as well. Just to sort of say that, you know, for anyone interested, you can scan this code and look up the competition that Savola just announced. A quick follow-up question on this. So it's open from now and it lasts until end of the year, or what was the? Yes, the application.
20th of November?
20th of November,
yes.
okay. So just to give a bit of a sense also for people who are actually interested to apply, please have a look. Some great prizes as well, I saw, so really looking forward to this one. Now if we can move to Istanbul, and Ayşegül, who would present us the challenge that is posed by Migros.
Hello again. Migros also has an R&D center in its 9th year, and we are conducting many kinds of innovative projects with universities, with young talents, with our also suppliers. Migros has more than 20,000 suppliers, or the farmers, let's say, in our ecosystem. So we need to engage with them. And while we are working about some innovative projects, we saw that one of the most important barriers to modern agricultural practices is to adapt small farmers to technology. While it is developing, adoption to use of these new generation technologies limits the progress in this area, we think. And I'm really thrilled to announce that we just opened our hackathon call today, and you can submit your applications from now on. In this innovation challenge, we just collaborated with the FAO and the EBRD together. First of all of my thanks go to this great team: Nemanja, Nina, Jamie, Miloš, Tarık, Jada, and the other my colleagues. Thanks for your collaboration. Our challenge will be about engaging farmers, making use of technology to support sustainable farming. We are inviting you to apply our challenge. Let's join our forces to make use of technology for small farmers. And it's open till 4th of December for 6 weeks. And after virtual training and workshop sessions, 3 finalists will be hosted in Turkey. And they will have the opportunity to visit the agricultural lands in Turkey and meet the local farmers, entrepreneurs, and Migros experts to improve their ideas better on field. And basically, we are trying to find answers to these questions. How can we engage farmers to use technology better than now? And how can we make farmers aware of modern and sustainable technologies instead of conventional methods? Come and join us, and you can also see our hackathon's QR code on the screen, maybe, Nemanja?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ayşegül. And yes, if we can please have the QR code of the Migros competition also on the screen. Again, for anyone interested to check it out. Also, if you know people who might be interested to apply, please share it as well. So indeed, two very exciting competitions. Very glad as EBRD and FAO's Investment Center to be able to support these initiatives. One final question for Dia, Montaser, and Aizegul. If I can ask you, as you now pose these, important big questions to the youth, let's say, if you can also give them a little bit of advice. So, sort of very kind of quick, advice, something practical, something inspirational. What is it that you want to see from them? So, Dia, if we can start.
Sure. So, just connect the dots. And if I look around, all the breakthroughs, all the things that changed our lives in the last 10, 15 years or more, they came from young people. So we believe in young a lot, and we think all the freshness, all the out-of-the-box and creativity comes from young generation. So please feel free and think beyond any borders. And if you were not able to crack all the elements in the challenge, like you crack 70%, 80%, or even less, don't worry. Please continue, approach us. We'll be happy to give guidance and to support equally everybody. And we know this is a long journey that will be starting from there. So please, I'm encouraging that you give it a try, and I'm sure we'll reach a very good destination. Best of luck to everybody.
Yes. First of all, we are encouraging everyone from the youth and the R&D, either from the academia or from the food sectors, to participate in this challenge. And we will consider every idea as a project, and we will consider it, and we will fund it, we'll support it, of course. And what I would like to advise the youth researchers as R&D, I have long experience in R&D and product development, that first of all, they have to understand the challenge very well. They have to understand how the challenge very well, what is the meaning of that challenge. Secondly, they have to make a very in-depth and thorough background research. I mean, literature survey. For any new initiative, for any new research point, for any topic, they have to do a very thorough literature survey, not that fast and quick without focusing. Third issue, they have to go to the expert, to consult the expertise in that, because all over the world, everywhere, there is expertise in every country on that type of topic and that type of industry. And they have to make a proper action plan for that. I would say to make a proper CPS for that, how to make it in a proper way, in the right time. Not just to keep open, working without any limitation for that. They have to make a proper plan for their work. They have to involve the related expertise in that, and they have to work, if the 2-3, they can work in a teamwork. And finally, they have to work on theoretical and practical front. Not only work in theoretically, but they have to focus or to think that at the end of the day, we need a prototype. And this prototype should be workable. Not just an idea, not a theoretical concept. This should be workable in the applications which I just mentioned it. This is how they should approach the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aizegul, final point from you.
Yeah, Nemanja, thank you. Honestly, my first advice to youth is please discover yourself. What are your values? What are your significant strengths? Do you own your dream? Do you have a dream just generated by yourself? So then, let me refer to Simon Sinek's why. Find out your why. If you have your why, then you can make progress to your why. And nowadays, as I mentioned earlier, the world is turning faster and faster every day. So we need to be a part of a great team. We cannot achieve a huge success by ourselves, just ourselves, in my opinion. So please be a part of a team. And there are some basic rules to being a part of a great team. Great teams are discover together, decide together, deliver together, and share together. So our hackathon will make us discover together. So please just join us and let's be a part of the great team. And about the innovation process is a very uncertain way. So we need to be open every challenges in that way. And the best thing, in my opinion, is to create our MVP, minimum viable product, and test it with the real customer in the real environment. Instead of making lots of assumptions, instead of making millimetric forecasting plans, just go to the field and test your idea, test your MVP. I think that's okay for me. Thanks, Nemanja, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Plenty, I think, practical and inspirational. Really great to hear. Excellent advice. I think we can move to London now because the EBRD already has some tools and ways to support young people and entrepreneurs and startups and so on. So, you know, this type of dedicated advice is something that my colleague Nari will tell us about. So Nari, over to you.
Thank you, Nemanja. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. We're on the first slide, so I think you can direct us, yes, when you want to move on.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a bit conscious of everybody's times. So I'll quickly, briefly present about the StarVenture program for the audience. So the StarVenture program was launched about 3.5 years ago, and the EBRD actually invests in a region of VC funds in our countries of operation. So we provide equity financing, and together with that investment linkage, we provide advisory program for all the ecosystem players, including high potential startups, local accelerators, and their startup cohorts. So by providing both financing and advisory, the EBRD is trying to maximize its support for the growth of our startups in our countries of operation. In terms of the overview of the program has been launched in 19 different countries. By the end of this year, we are launching in Kazakhstan and Mongolia as well. So for this program specifically, we recruited more than 1,500 mentors and advisors who can advise a lot of different sort of business support. And also throughout the program, we've trained more than 100 local consultants, and we do also different types of ecosystem support. So we provide policy advisory for relevant governments to enhance the business environment for startups. And we also provide trainings for investors and provide sort of networking opportunities for their capacity building. And also we do crowdfunding support. And among those beneficiary startups, we identify these high potential startups. We call them HIPSUs, and these are the specific startups that we provide intensive advisory directly. So these HIPSUs so far have raised more than $320 million, which is actually a very good achievement of the program. And throughout the program, we've supported over 500 startups, and then we've done a lot of trainings, workshops, advisory projects, and mentoring for all of these startups. We do have 23 local partner accelerators. So we provide support for their capacity building and support their core startups sort of development. In terms of the structure of the program, if you look at the bottom of the pyramid, so we do very different types of ecosystem capacity building activities. So the beneficiaries could be governments and government agencies and business associations related to startups and angel investors or corporate venture capitals. So there are a lot of different activities going on for ecosystem development. And we also support local consultants to work with our startups. So there are a lot of boot camps and diagnostics, sort of the assessment tools that we can also train our local consultants. And then we provide this capacity building support and trainings for accelerators and their core startups. But I would say the core of the StarVenture program is actually the scaling support. So I previously mentioned that we select directly these high potential startups that we call HIPSUs, and we provide these packaged services, including business diagnostics that assess companies' business needs. And then based on those outcomes, we provide one-on-one individualized, customized advisory. And we provide online mentoring, but if mentors and mentees want, they can also meet offline. And we support business trips of those mentors. And we also support this business matching with potential partner businesses. And we provide access to finance opportunities, connecting relevant investors, including CVCs, VCs, and some of the individual investors with our startups. And the slide shows here the sort of how some of our hipsters have been featured on media. And if you actually look at the top on the right-hand side, this Tunisian company Next Protein, they produce protein out of insects. And this is one of our sort of top performing agri-tech in our portfolio. And they've raised more than 11 million back in 2020, which was the largest, by the way, sort of seed funding that have been raised in the MENA region. And if you want to know more about our program, please visit this website. And if you want to know more about our portfolio companies, you can click our portfolio and see the list of these companies. So all of our companies, you can actually notice that they are very much contributing to sustainable sort of economies. And so StarVenture, overall, we are trying to really contribute to the green economy and the sustainability of our ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Nari. That's excellent indeed. A lot of assistance available there, and I hope it's useful for our audiences. We're coming to the end of the panel, and we only really have now a few minutes, and I would like to invite my colleague Iride. You heard a lot of good ideas, a lot of interesting stuff. Hopefully someone was writing down. And yes, if you can sort of give us the summary.
Yes, thank you, Nimo. Thank you all. I took a lot of notes. It was very inspirational, and I'm really excited to work with all of you in this room and with those that are watching us, you know, from the net. So here, as a bank, of course, we want to work with private sector companies, with young people, with innovators in our sector to foster agri-food systems that are digital, inclusive, and green. And how do we do this? I think we heard a lot about teams that are successful, teams that can really bring this innovation into our sector. And I marked down a few things. So connect the dots. This is very important. We do it as an institution. We do it by creating the opportunities like today to actually start the conversation. So I'm not concluding. I'm just starting another conversation on this because it's so important to harness that innovation. And we saw these two incredible challenges. I mean, these are real problems. These are huge problems in our sector, and we really need to see which are the practical solutions that can bring us a bit further in our journey. So the BRD as well will promote challenge for the agri-food sector, which will come at the end of this year. So I wish to reconnect with all of you and to speak more about this challenge that we are about to launch. But now I think we heard a lot. There are these two incredible challenges for you to apply. So apply to Savola and Migros to solve the issues of our companies and to come up with practical solutions, but also keep dreaming on the future, how we can really reach that level and that agri-food system that we all want to embrace. So
great.
I pass you the floor.
Thank you. Yes, thanks very much. This is the very end of this first panel. I will invite my panelists to leave the stage now as we move ahead to the second part. And I welcome. Thank you. Thanks very much. And I welcome Glindis to take over the role of the moderator.
Thank you so much. Hello and a warm welcome to everyone. I'm Glindis Virginia Luciano, White Horse Network Engagement Manager. Welcome to now the second part of this private sector innovation afternoon. Due to constraints of time, I quickly want to invite and pass the stage to the FAO Deputy Director General, Beth Bechtel, and also Her Excellency Yael Rubenstein, the representative of the State of Israel, to the UN-based Rome agencies, please.
Thank you so much. Okay, wait, give me a hug first. Oh, it's so good to see you and so good to have you here. Ambassador Rubenstein is one of our outstanding champions of young people and innovation, and I've had the opportunity myself to travel to Tel Aviv and just so impressed by the name that Israel has of Startup Nation. And it's clear, it's evident through every part of the culture, the people, the technologies that are being developed. And I was just going back through, Ambassador, my Twitter account, and I found the day, June 29th, when you brought this incredible group of students from Israel to Plenary Hall here at FAO, and I think you and I even joked it was probably the best use of Plenary Hall that we've had in a very long time. There's a lot of politics and a lot of governing body issues that get sort of fought out in this building in our membership. But this was an incredibly special day, and you have done such an amazing job bringing together students to focus on their ingenuity, their creativity, all with a focus on challenging them to think about the Sustainable Development Goals. You've already had a chance to show us and introduce us to one of the teams that was here, and I think we have a second team that's ready and waiting. Over to you.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm really honored to be here. Actually, this is going to be the fourth team that are going to, yes, because there was one in the morning with the DG and two in the afternoon, and now the last one. So it's really amazing. I mean, we're very, very proud because when we're talking about SDG, right? I mean, we're talking about trying to achieve the 2030 agenda. They're going to be the private sector, the next private sector. They're going to be. They're going to be our leaders. They're going to, I mean, we will be still around, I hope, but they're going to be our leaders. They're going to pave the way of how this world is going to be. And we live in not a great world. If you're talking about climate change, we're talking about zero anger, etc. And we try to mobilize the the young generation in Israel to think out of the box, mainly, really to think out of the box. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but this is the way we are educated in Israel, and that's why we are startup nations. Because I mean, if the door is locked, you look for the window, and so I'm very, very proud to really introduce the fourth Israelis that they are coming from a kibbutz. And Kibbutz and Shemer, and they are the last one. Nevertheless, the very amazing four guys. So I'm happy to introduce Yuval, Ella, Noam, and Tal, and their Professor Noam Geva. So, guys, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yael, and thank you, everyone, for the invitation. We're very excited. My name is Noam Geva. I'm the manager of the ecological greenhouse in Kibbutz and Shemer. We are an NGO established 45 years ago, and we are working with more than 1,000 students a year, dealing with the climate change, food, water, and more. These great guys, Yuval Gofer, Tal Lerner, Elan Nawi, and Naama Eisen, the Liberty team, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and we will start by my name is Tal. I'm 17 years old. I live in a small town in Israel, and I'm working on this project.
I'm Elan Nawi. I'm also 17 years old, and I live also nearby the kibbutz in Shemer.
Yuval Gofer. I'm 16 years old, and I live in kibbutz Mishmarot.
My name is Naama Eisen. I'm 17 years old and I live in Kibbutz and Shemer. We're gonna load up okay, great. So we wanna start off by obviously saying thank you for having us here. We're very excited. As we said, we are Tal, Yuval, and Naama. We're the ecological greenhouse team, and our project is called Liberate. And it's meant to create an innovative and easy to implement solution for the malnutrition challenge.
We chose the second SDG goal, zero hunger. since it's becoming extremely urgent as a result of climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we would like to show you a short clip of our project. Nama, can you please load up the clip?
1 second. I think we'll maybe show the clip at the end, or if we can do it now. I think it's at the end of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
One in 4 people in Kenya suffer from severe food insecurities, a worsening condition caused by attacks from locust worms that eat the grains grown by local farmers. The difficulty of providing food in Kenya is connected to electricity and water infrastructure. We, the students of the agricultural farm in Shemer, mobilized to face the challenge with the help of Israeli researchers and in collaboration with entrepreneurs from Kenya. We are developing a solution for protein production in rural areas in Kenya. The solution is based on a plant that is considered to be a superfood, the duckweed plant. Duckweed is a water plant that is common around the globe, with a rapid rate of reproduction in nature. The system that we have designed does not require electricity, uses water with nitrates, and is based on the principle of zero waste, where the fertilizer for growing the duckweed is provided by the composter which we built that produces liquid fertilizer from household organic waste.
Are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Can you keep going with the presentation?
So what are we proposing to do? Our solution is called PBF. P for the main systems product, protein, and 2 byproducts, B for biogas and F for fertilizer. Due to the need to supply food in rural areas, we looked for a solution that needs no electricity, no fresh water, creates zero waste, and brings no invasive species.
And we found it, duckweed. Duckweed is a small and green aquatic plant that can contain up to 40% protein. And it also contains other additional important nutritional values, such as antioxidants. Its growth rate is one of the highest in nature. In ideal conditions, it can duplicate its biomass in just 2 to 3 days. It is easy to grow. It can grow in standing water, so there is no need for electricity, and it can grow in brackish water, so there is no need for clean water. There are local duckweed species in Africa, and finally, duckweed is already being grown commercially in Israel, so that in addition to being a local food solution, it also has an international market. We planned a system that is assembled in 2 parts: the duckweed pond that can be dug into the ground and sealed with a local clay, and a food digester that will turn domestic food waste into liquid fertilizer. The food digester is made of a barrel, pipes, and valves. Thus, our system is self-maintained, cheap, and sustainable. It seems that we're having some connection problems, I think.
Okay, everybody's in different places. Can you keep going? Can others of the team step in?
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, so duckweed can also be used as efficient food for livestock. It contains a lot of nutritional values, such as antioxidants and B12 vitamins. In the scheme in front of you, you can see the PBF process from waste to fertilizer and then to food.
How do you incorporate duckweed into food? The first step is harvesting the plant and laying it out on a surface so it can dry in the sun. The next step is to collect and ground the dried duckweed to a powder. This can be done using a mortar and pestle. Once the duckweed is turned into powder, it can be incorporated into many types of food. For example, in the greenhouse, we incorporated it into our flatbread. Believe it or not, duckweed has both no taste and no smell, and when incorporated into food, it only adds a slight green tint to it.
One of the main system's benefits is that a lot of the components can be replaced with cheap alternatives, as we did in the greenhouse. For example, polyethylene cover for soil seeding costs around $20, but clay from near water sources would be used instead, which costs $0. Also, as the parts are standard, they can be reused for the fertilizer system as well as the bird.
During the process, we came across a number of challenges. So seasonality. Duckweed grows slower during the cold seasons. Our solution is to construct the system in the summer so that when we reach winter, the duckweed growth will be stable. Time. It takes time until the food remnants turn into fertilizer. Our solution is to build the fertilizing system several months before the growing pond. An additional solution could be to use cow dung, which accelerates the growing process. Lastly, parasites and diseases. This challenge is still outstanding, and we're continuing to work on its solution.
So what have we done up until now? These are some of the steps that we've made towards achieving our vision to implement Liberate systems in rural areas in African countries. One step we made was connecting with potential partners in Africa. Another step was writing the system manual and sending it out to numerous contacts in different countries in Africa. An additional step we made was publishing an article that we wrote about our project in the IS-CDRA newspaper, Duckweed Forum. Another plan we want to achieve in the future is running both systems, the one here in Israel and one in Africa, and examining the system and improvements that might be needed.
Lastly, we would like to thank the Greenhouse team, our researchers and mentors, Noam Geva, Oded Rav, Itai Ivri, Dr. Mark Polikovsky, Michal Dolev, Dr. Shai Pinto, Sigal Lutsky, and Sidak Sin, and many more for being alongside us and guiding us throughout this project. Now, imagine a world where food is accessible to all, where it doesn't squander our precious natural resources. Together, we can make this a reality. Let's liberate the world. Thank you for listening.
Ambassador, you've been so generous with your time with us and for bringing forward these 4 amazing teams to the World Food Forum. There you all are again. It's great to see you all from Rome to all of the places you are. Thank you so much for your incredible contributions and for all the good work you're doing for the planet. I think it's really incredible that when you think about the ideas that are coming from this group of almost all 17-year-olds, I think I heard,
But we started when they were 15.
So 2 years of advancement, and you see, we heard earlier that innovation is a stepwise process. And the fact that this is a group that is focused on a global challenge, they're focused on research, they're focused on engineering, they're focused on operations, they're focused on nutrition, and pulling all of these pieces together, it's incredible. And I just hope that you'll keep going and that we'll see you back here in Rome or in other places where you can continue to make such an outstanding contribution to the people of the world. But Ambassador, thank you again to you personally for your leadership and the contributions you've made. This is such the right thing for us to be working on as FAO and with all of you as partners, and clearly the next generation is going to, it brings such optimism and such enthusiasm when you know that we're facing so many difficult circumstances. I'm just thrilled to see all of you with us today. Thanks.
Thank you again. It was really an amazing journey, really, to work with them. And thank you very much for inviting me and us and giving us the chance to share with you those innovative ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. We're going to turn it back over to our terrific moderator and move on with the rest of the program.
Thank you so much.
Over to you.
Ambassador. And I want, please, yes. So thank you to the ambassador for sharing this really inspiring project, and of course to the students that joined us and waited online, and last and not least to DDG Beth Bechtel. Now, before we dive into our panel discussion, I want to invite on stage Guillermo Brady to share and highlight the importance of young farmers. So please join me here on stage.
Hi, Gladys.
Hello, hello.
Nice to be with you.
Likewise.
No, so a pleasure to be in the World Food Forum to talk a bit about the importance of young farmers and how the United Nations Decade on Family Farming, a global initiative, is trying to promote support to young farmers around the world. We all know that the young farmers, young people are agents of change. They are crucial to transform food systems. They bring innovations, they help to change behaviors, they define new trends, and this is not different in family farming. But we have a problem that is one of the main issues in the 21st century related to agriculture, that we have aging on farming, right? And it will be very difficult to keep our food system sustainable without a generational renewal. So this is a big issue to be considered, and we need to provide policies, investment, and adapted solutions for young farmers, for them to consider to continue doing their work. So the United Nations Decade, it's this global initiative launched by the United Nations General Assembly, and in order to promote investments, knowledge, and policies on family farming. That is the most predominant form of agriculture around the world. Okay, so we are working in more than 50 countries, thousands of actors involved in multi-stakeholder spaces, and mainly farmers' organizations and young farmers directly discussing with the governments which kind of solutions they need to bring. We have already 11 countries with national plans approved. Another 14 is drafting now, in the drafting stage. Other 30 countries with a framework provided by sub-regional spaces, intergovernmental spaces, that define the sub-regional action plans. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to, as entry points at the national level, to bring concrete solutions to young people, to young farmers, with contextualized solutions at the national level. We have this framework, these entry points that can be used. We just would like to bring some key discussions that we just had. We just realized and finalized some weeks ago the first Global Forum on Family Farming, a big process following regional consultations, thematic discussions that ended up in the Global Forum with thousands of farmers, government officials around the world. And we had a dedicated session to discuss the youth challenges. It is one of the pillars, the key pillars of the 7 that we are working under the Global Action Plan of the decade. And I would like to highlight 2 or 3 aspects, not the usual ones that we all know related to the challenges on agriculture, on food production, the access to natural resources, of finance, extension services, but some 2 or 3 maybe new issues that were brought that I think are interesting aspects to be considered. So one is that we need to think beyond the traditional policies on agriculture if we want to find sustainable solutions to young farmers, because the challenges go on in rural areas are beyond production. They often refer that they don't feel that the world see the rural areas, the rural territories as spaces of life, but they see them as, let's say, rural territories as spaces of production, of work, and they want more. They want to work, they want to have income, but they want to have access to education, they want to have access to cultural equipment. There is a big lack of infrastructure. So I think one big issue is that we need to find ways to better coordinate in different policy areas to try to reduce the gap that exists between rural areas and urban areas. This is crucial for rural people, but especially for the youth. I worked for several years with young farmers, and very often they refer that three big issues that they consider, let's say, when they think about gonna leave, it's lack of access to income or opportunities of employment, but lack of access to education. Sometimes they need to travel several kilometers in a day in order to be able to access a school or a university. Or they want to have fun, they want to go out, they want to do other things, no? And sometimes this is not present. So this is an important issue. I think another one is related to how to promote intergenerational exchange. In the United Nations Decade, we are moving to a relational approach with the youth, because it will not be enough, let's say, isolated interventions to the youth or to the broader agricultural farmers. No, we need to bridge the knowledge that exists, and several speakers were referring to this. No, how we can help the older farmers maybe to access innovations. The youth can help, and how can we help newcomers in agriculture to develop the knowledge, the vast knowledge that exists, bringing the old farmers to discuss. So I think we need to also move on how to promote more intergenerational knowledge exchange. And this is an area that we are studying, investing, analyzing. We are seeing very interesting examples in Austria, Netherlands, Canada, of concrete ways or methodologies to promote this kind of dialogue in communities and territories. And we hope next year to bring some young farmers and older farmers for a generational exchange with you here in the stage to go deeper in this discussion. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing those outcomes of the roundtable discussions. I think you really highlighted some important factors. Of course, we're already aware that we need better environments that enable for young farmers to engage, but also bringing up this specific thing of having better infrastructure in rural areas to really create livelihoods, not just in the form of work or labor itself, but livelihoods that encompass the social aspect, economic, but also a good environment. So thank you so much for joining us here today. I appreciate it. Now we are going to hear from our panel. So I would like to welcome the representatives from Beewise, Chemonics International, FoodCloud, Nestlé, and NextGen to discuss the role of the private sector in fostering youth innovation, youth engagement, entrepreneurship, and the importance for agri-food system transformation. So I will move one seat down. Take a seat, any seat. This will be a high-level discussion with key players in the agriculture and food sector. We will highlight the role that large private sector key players have in really shaping and supporting youth in this space. Now, to start off, I would actually like to introduce our NextGen representative here, Nestlé Herman Valente. We will start with an introductory video from NextGen, and I would just like to put out a disclaimer that some of the folks in the video have maybe changed titles. However, the objectives, messages, and partners still remain the same. So we can go ahead with the video now.
Today, we face many challenges, such as poverty and hunger, limited access to healthcare and education, and accelerating environmental degradation and climate change.
In United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, The SDGs are urging call to action to address these challenges on a global scale.
The SDGs are all interrelated, and we believe in achieving them requires everyone to participate.
The decisions made and the actions taken in the next few decades will have an enormous impact on today's youth, future generations, and the world they live in.
Today, we are more connected than ever and more aware of the challenges all we face.
As a result, we know more, connect more, and collaborate more to act on our inspiration and contribute to ensure a sustainable future for everyone, everywhere.
We must empower our future leaders to have a voice and a vote in the concrete actions taken to tackle the global sustainability challenges with them.
Agriculture is a field full of opportunities to create better, more equitable, sustainable, and prosperous food systems.
However, across the world, agriculture must become more attractive and offer real opportunities for young people to thrive, make a decent living, and contribute to a sustainable future for our planet and humanity.
We believe that agriculture can and must be a driver for solutions towards the UN SDGs and to bring opportunities and benefits to many people across the world, their families and their communities.
And we know that collaboration will take us there and make agriculture known for what it is, a purposeful and essential ecosystem with professions that secure livelihoods, health, and nutrition for the global population.
We are so excited to share that we have formed the Coalition of Intent to co-create the global NextGen Ag Impact Network, short ENGINE.
NGIN will put young people in the driver's seat. It will be co-created for, with, and by the next generation of agricultural leaders.
Together, we will leverage and amplify our joint potential and share it with the next generation innovators in agriculture and food systems.
Actually, Gin and Smart Agriculture Network, we are working together to mainstream all the talent with young people, persons with disabilities, women, in the whole process to ensure that we have a sustainable future as we transform the food system. Thank you very much.
As partners, we're aligned and united in our goal to achieving the SDGs.
NGIN will empower the next generation of agricultural leaders to contribute to creating the sustainable future of agriculture, starting now.
And now, it's your time. Explore ENGINE for yourself or encourage someone you know by visiting our website to learn more and get in touch.
All right, fantastic. So now I would like to welcome Christian Bosburas from Nestlé. Can you please briefly, yes, microphone. Please briefly introduce yourself and how exactly is, and answer the question of how is Nestlé truly fostering youth engagement and innovation?
With pleasure. Good evening, everybody. Very happy to be here with you discussing the role of young people, young innovators in shaping the future of our food system. So my name is Christian Bosburas. I work for Nestlé, and just a little bit of background of the work that we do. We have a global youth initiative which comes with the ambition to create economic opportunities for 10 million young people. And this initiative has basically 3 pillars. One pillar on agripreneurship, which is focusing on young farmers. Then there is a pillar focusing on supporting young people, getting them in the formal job markets, which is about employability. And then there's a third one, which is about young entrepreneurs, supporting young innovators, which I'm kind of focused upon. On this entrepreneurship pillar, we just recently launched a youth entrepreneurship platform, or YAP. And this platform basically provides a lot of opportunities for young people, that want to innovate, that want to create, contribute to the future of our food system. It comes with a free e-learning academy. So if you want, go and check it out on www.nestleyouthentrpreneurship.com.
Thank you so much, Christian. Now I will pass it over to Isolt Bar from FoodCloud. So please briefly introduce yourself and explain a little bit of what FoodCloud is doing to foster youth innovation and engagement.
Thank you. So FoodCloud, I'm the co-founder and CEO, and it's a non-profit social enterprise set up to support the redistribution of surplus food. So we work with large food companies and enable them to donate their food, their surplus food, to charities and community groups using our technology. And then in Ireland, where we're based, we also have warehousing and logistics solutions as well. And we actually started 10 years ago, so when I was still a student in university. And it was really through being able to work with the food industry and private sector companies that we were able to innovate and scale to the point that we have today. So Tesco, who are a large retailer in Ireland, in the UK, and in Europe, were the first supermarket to use our technology. And we're now working with them across 4 different countries. So we're all of their stores across the UK, Ireland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia are now donating using our software platform. And with that, we've been able to work with many more companies as well across those countries. So I think having started off very young and approaching the problem of food waste, which is about 8 to 10% of greenhouse gas emissions, it's a very big problem we must solve, and food security as well. We were able to innovate and scale and grow very quickly thanks to the collaboration with the private sector, even though we were starting off at a very young age. So it's great to hear about all of the work that's happening to inspire more young people, because I think there's a great opportunity there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing also your story. I think it's really nice to hear, you look pretty young yourself still. It's really nice to hear stories of young people being able to scale up and receiving the support that they need. So thank you for sharing that. Now, next, I want to invite Chemonics International, Lauren Burr, to please introduce yourself and the same question that I ask everyone else.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here on behalf of Chemonics International. I'm the Senior Advisor for Innovation and Investment. And if you're not familiar with Chemonics, we're a global development and sustainability services firm. We work in 80 or 90 countries around the world currently, and we've been, for the past 50 years or so, working in all areas of the SDGs, primarily with the public and private sectors in emerging and developing economies. And we really play this kind of interesting facilitator role, where we're trying to help communities design, launch, and scale innovations that solve local problems. And we do this through funding from clients like the US Agency for International Development, the UK's Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and the Gates Foundation. And agriculture, food security, and youth empowerment are 3 of the big areas in which we work. And we have a number of programs specifically focused on youth development and empowerment, and a few corporate priorities with partnerships like XTC and the Unleash Global Innovation Lab to help support youth entrepreneurs, again, in designing and launching solutions that address the Sustainable Development Goals. So excited to be sharing a little bit more about what we do when we get into some of the questions.
Thank you so much, Laura. I'm looking forward to that as well. And last but not least, I would like to have Sar Safra from Beewise to please introduce yourself. And again, the same question I have asked everyone else.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Sar from Beewise. Very excited to be here. Beewise is a 4-year-old company, headquartered in California with the R&D offices in Israel. And what we do is we build robotic beehives to save the bees. So we really took saving the bees as our core mission when you think about sustainability and climate change. And I'm not sure if you all know this, but 75% of all the crops that are being grown on the planet are pollinated by bees, right? 75% avocados, tomatoes, cucumbers, coffee, cotton. So bees are pretty prominent in our global food supply, but we're losing our bees at the same time. So we're losing about 30 to 40% of all the bee colonies every single year all around the globe, sometimes referred to as colony collapse disorder, CCD, but doesn't matter how you refer to it. It's a huge problem considering how much reliant we are on the bees' pollination. And so we build technologies that actually save bees at scale. We build robotic beehives that allow bees to cope with modern stressors instead of trying to solve the modern stressors themselves, carbon in the air, rising sea levels, and so on. We actually give bees a tool set so that they can actually survive despite all the modern stressors. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So I would now like to open it up to the audience for a couple of questions. If the audience maybe has one or two questions, we'll be happy to take them. Due to constraint of time, we cannot do so many, but it would be interesting if someone has one or two questions. So I will ask my colleague. I see someone over here with a hand raised. If you have the microphone with you. There's someone to pass the microphone. There we go.
Thank you so much. And thank you for hosting this panel. I mean, right now, the young people under the age of 30 are a third of the global population, which means they're also the largest consumer network the world has ever seen. And honestly, we're struggling to survive with the increase in cost of living, increase in rent. And then we're also being asked to increase our innovation by a lot of other groups and other sectors. And my question is for Nestlé, because at the beginning of this year, you increased your prices of food by 6.5%, while increasing profits in the first 6 months of kind of being Nestlé. And young people are being forced to buy food that they can't afford. And it's really great to see that you're on the stage with FoodCloud, because you're supplying food to young people who can't afford food. So I'd like to ask, what are you doing to combat this, if anything?
Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you for your question. You know, I'm obviously not the subject matter specialist sitting in the financial department, but what I know is that actually our profitability is decreasing. And yes, we have increased prices, but you know, at the cost of our profitability as well. So we try to increase prices as much as we do responsibly. But obviously, you know, supply chains are disrupted. You know, the cost of our ingredients are increasing also for us, but we try to do it in a way that is responsible. And again, the profitability has decreased, you know, compared to last year, as far as I'm aware.
Thank you so much, Christian. Is there a follow-up question, perhaps, or another question that anyone would like to ask from the audience? Yes, please. A microphone all the way over here. I will probably give this one. It's quicker.
Well, thank you. Thank you for giving us questions here as well. And thank you for my previous question, Oscar. I have a follow-up question. I was wondering, like, you hear a lot of great stories. I'm so happy that you're all here telling your stories. From a youth perspective, and a lot what I hear from other youth as well, is that often bigger companies, corporates give the floor to youth, but then at the same time they're youth washing or greenwashing. What do you do to prevent this sense and feeling of the youth in this case?
So who would like to answer that?
I can give it a shot. Ooh.
There we go.
This is loud.
All righty.
Thank you for the great question. You know, again, not by design, but what we do at Beewise, for example, by providing technology and essentially digitizing beekeeping, we're allowing a new generation to come in. So what happens in beekeeping, the first problem we're seeing on the planet is we're losing the bees. But the second problem is we're losing the beekeepers. Now, when I said earlier that 75% of the crops are being pollinated, it's not pollination that happens, you know, by chance in the field. It's commercial beekeepers that bring in their hives physically into fields for pollination purposes and then moving them out. If we're losing both the bees and the beekeepers, again, we are risking our own food supply. By providing modern tools technology, digitization, innovation into this field. Again, we're leading this effort on the planet. And I'm saying this because, not as self-praise, but actually I would love to see more competition, because it's still so nascent that there's so much room for competition to come in and add digitization. So we see the next generation of beekeepers, kids, young folks, that are actually sitting under AC and can control millions of hives around the globe through their computer without having to go physically to every hive, open it up, look inside. Simple things, again, not by design, but as a byproduct, we suddenly see many, many more younger folks using our solution than the old guard, right? So this is how we think about youth and how we can actually attract more talent into the bee industry to support them. We're not leaving them a better planet than what we inherited. So at least we can give them better tools to cope, with what we've done.
All right. Thank you. I see, Nella, you would like to respond and pass the microphone also if there's someone else who wants to be ready right after.
Sure. So I'd like to also answer the question. And actually, maybe you can invite your young beekeepers to become engineers as well, so parts of the NextGen platform, because it's actually, so NextGen is actually about providing a platform, a vote and a voice to young people. And this is very serious. So we have 50% of our board members, which are 15 people, 15 organizations. So 50% of those are young people. And they are taking decisions with the other stakeholders as well. So it's intergenerational, it's inter-stakeholder, and it's definitely giving a voice and a vote to young people. So that's how we approach it at NextGen. And I would really encourage everyone, like everyone here on stage and also beyond, to really check it out and see if this is something that you might be wanting to contribute to as well, because we're hoping to grow, getting the word out about attractivity of agriculture.
Thank you so much, Nella. I will quickly ask also Isolde, please respond if you have something.
Yes, so thanks for the two questions. I think it is worth acknowledging that it is very challenging for young people today. There is a rising cost of living. There is a growing awareness of the climate crisis and the burden that a lot of youth will have to face. So I thank you for the two great questions. And I think from a hopeful point of view, I think on one side, young people's voices are being heard a lot more because of the work they are doing, because we are seeing them speaking out a lot more. They're organizing themselves, they are striking, they're in the news a lot more, they're in the media a lot more. So I think the young people's voices, in comparison to 10 years ago when I started, the youth are being heard a lot more. But I think that is a result of their work. And the fact that they are being courageous and speaking out and working together. I think on the other side, for the private sector, we are seeing higher levels of accountability. We're seeing, ESG and the science-based targets. Through these initiatives, we are seeing a lot more accountability, and at the same time, I think the private sector are responding to young people and their questions, their voices, because of the strikes and the level of kind of media and coverage that they're getting on core issues, particularly around the climate crisis. So I'm hopeful. I think it's worth recognizing the challenges, but I'm also hopeful because I think, the private sector are listening. We are seeing more change and more accountability. And I think there's an incredible energy and movement that are happening amongst young people to really help accelerate progress on against the climate crisis. So I think a big thank you to all of the young people that are putting all of that hard work in and being brave when we really need them to be.
Thank you so much. Wow, okay. We like the questions.
Yeah, no,
so
I think
please,
both
Laura,
questions were great. And just to build on that point, I would ask, what is the private sector doing with its resources? What does it do with its profits? How is it building that back into its business model for the transition to sustainability? And what opportunities are they providing to youth and to consumers? And you all have an incredible opportunity to then decide where you spend your dollars and whether you want to spend your money or engage with parts of the private sector that are not making a genuine transition to more sustainable business practices, or are not spending the resources that they have to empower youth, or to put your money and your attention and your support to those that are. And I think that helps with the accountability piece as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for highlighting the importance of what individuals and consumers can do. But I would also love to add the fact that the political aspect is also important, as it's not just a consumer level problem, but also a systemic issue as well. So I just would love to add that there. One more question, if there's any other questions. Ooh, I see another hand over here, potentially.
Thank you. Okay, I've really liked, the various technologies that are being proposed. And I've worked for many years in Africa, West Africa, and proposing, the inclusion, the adoption of new technologies. But from your technologies, when I listen to your technologies, do you think, what I've seen is that very often models are technologically out of reach for a great part of the population, okay, of the people who are the most food challenged. We have to understand that because of the recent crisis, gains that were made in the past 3 or 4 years have been scaled back. And really there's been a backsliding. And that concerns a whole youth population who are being told to innovate and develop things. However, technological models are actually beyond their reach, when actually much simpler applications could actually be adopted at their level. What do you think about the technologies you've been developing and the approaches? Do you think that the approaches that you're developing, the technologies, are within reach of a farmer in Burkina Faso who is a beekeeper, or someone who is in food distribution in Lagos? Do you think that those technological models can be adopted, and do you think that they present opportunities for youth in those countries?
I guess I'm first again.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And when you say it like that, it's sad, but it's true. When I think about our company, our technology, we're a 4-year-old company, and we have to kind of really focus. We're a classic startup, right? We have to choose one market, really focus, one product, one group of customers. And when I think where my technology would be the most applicable, it actually would be in areas like you speak of, right? Areas that need it the most. Less for profit, more for survivability, right? To be honest. For us, for example, not kind of providing an excuse, but really it's a matter of access to capital, right? Because at the end of the day, if you had enough capital, you could really scale your product and have different versions, right? A version for this type of market and a version for a different type of market. But the sad fact is, it just, at least from where we stand, it doesn't work that way, because, again, smaller companies like us that really have to choose the market. We chose, for example, youth, right? The younger folks in areas that have power, have access to electricity, have access to capital, that can actually pay for a product. And that was our choice. Not saying it's the best choice, but that's the reality of things. And your question kind of makes me think about, when we choose the next market to expand to, for example, at a point where the company is not really trying to survive, but actually starting to grow, what would that market be? Will it be West Africa, or will it be Canada, right? Just random example. So good point, and I would say food for thought, pun intended, but.
Thank you. Would anyone like to answer the question?
Yes, so I think it's a very well-made point, and our technology has been developed in the UK and Ireland, and the countries we're currently working in, so works best in those scenarios. We do have an ambition to support other organizations that do similar work to us in different countries, but acknowledge that the context will be different, and there will be a need for significant research and development to make sure that it works. But always our focus has been to make it as easy as possible to use. And whilst, how the technology works in the background might be a bit more complex in terms of engaging with it and, say, offering food or accepting food, it is a simple process. But it does rely on having access to data or good internet. That is a challenge in some communities, and a certain, understanding of how it works. But really, the technology is such a small part of what we do as well. It is the people. It's the people that engage with it and take the time to donate the food that are working in all of the companies that we work with. And it's the people then on the other side who collect the food, and they then share that amongst the people in their communities through the community organizations and charities that we work with. So it's not often the end beneficiary that would necessarily have to engage with the technology. It's an organization and a representative in that organization that would then share that food out. So we do believe, technology is a really small part of it. It's the people that really make it happen.
Thank you so much, Isel. So I will have to cut it short over here. Again, constraints of time, but I want to thank the audience for asking questions, our panelists for their willingness to answer questions. And I would say, although we're running out of time here, please do follow them and ask them more questions that you may have. I thank you so much, and I want to give you guys a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. And I will now like to introduce to you all a very exciting collaboration, which is between Thought for Food, TFF, and the World Food Forum. And we have 2 videos to show to you all.
Hi, my name is Ikamte. I'm the CEO and founder of Golden Pot Limited in Tanzania. We are proud co-winners of the Thought for Food and World Food Forum, Food Security and Resilience Prize. Check out this video and see more of what we do. Thank you. Women are the leading labor force in agriculture. About 54% of the women in Tanzania depend on agriculture for their survival. That being said, we know African women are hardworking. African women are enterprising, but African women lack economic empowerment. My name is Ikamte, a founder and managing director of Golden Pot Limited, that partners with women to eradicate hunger, poverty, and malnutrition with a bag of maize.
My name is Rosa Gemua. I live with my grandchildren, as my children have moved to the city to look for jobs. They sent me money, but it's not enough. I am grateful that I got a job near home, and I use my income with my grandchildren. Our agriculture expert, Mr. Aziz Mwalim, is educating some of the women on how to take care of the crops during this harvest season, so as to maintain quality of the crops and to avoid losses. My name is Margaret Peter. I have been cultivating maize for a long time, but I haven't been making much profit from this crop because of the market. Before, crops middlemen will come with their own prices, but now I'll be working with Golden Pot, and I will keep cultivating and I will add more hectares. Customers love Golden Pot products. They are of good quality, and also the price is reasonable.
Hello everyone, my name is Bruno Ferreira.
And I am Alejandra Lopez.
We are co-founders and project coordinators of the first and only Food Bank of Bolivia. This year, we applied to the Thought for Food Challenge and were selected as the co-winners of the Food Security and Resilience Topical Prize by the World Food Forum.
We are so thrilled to have been selected and to be part of this amazing community. This is a huge motivation for us to keep doing our work and to keep contributing to food security in our country. In Bolivia, almost 14% of the population suffer from undernourishment. At the same time, 1/3 of all the food we produce is being wasted.
To tackle these problems, We salvage food from food companies, markets, and farmers and take them to our facilities where we classify them to make sure they are safe and then distribute them to our beneficiaries, vulnerable populations from foster homes, nursing homes, low-income neighborhoods, community kitchens, and even animal shelters. With our community of over 50 volunteers and many partners, we tackle hunger as well as food waste, a major contributor to climate change.
Since our founding in 2018, we have become sustainable, and we have rescued over 600 tons of food, and we are supporting constantly to more than 15,000 people. We are a diverse and youthful group.
And more than 60% women, by the way.
And our efforts are focused on extending our impact and diversifying our work because we want to distribute more food to more people. We invite everyone who is interested in our work to ask questions, reach out, and collaborate because we won't stop until we eradicate hunger in our beautiful country.
Thank you for your time and have a great day.
All right, fantastic. We're looking forward to see even more projects between this hopefully fruitful collaboration between TFF and the World Food Forum. I would now like to thank you all for being here today. To our audience, to our speakers who are here today, thank you for asking questions, for being inquisitive, and for really allowing this space where that can be the beginning of many more fruitful conversations in the future. Thank you all for your time, and I hope to see you in other World Food Forum events. Thank you.
We live